Marisa Stone with Simon Says Social and the Systems Lounge, and I want to welcome you today to the 2017 Business Systems Virtual Summit, where you get to learn all the systems that our speakers use to get things done. And I'm super excited to have Regina Lewis here today. Guys, she is going to talk all about how to launch your own VA business. So if you've been working as a VA or really wanting to get into this world, Regina is your go-to person. So let me tell you a little bit about her. Regina's passion is helping a new generation of virtual assistants launch their new business and take care of their business and really take it to that next level. Since 2007, she has helped numerous business owners establish an online presence, and aspiring virtual assistants realize that dream of owning and operating their own successful business. When she's not working at the local ministry, she's blogging or tinkering inside Squarespace, but she also loves time with her family and watching Downton Abbey to the point that it irritates her boys, which I love, and people watching from her front porch. Regina, welcome to the 2017 Business Systems Virtual Summit.
Marissa, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I'm thrilled to be here.
I'm so excited to dive into this conversation because I've never really spoken with, I've worked with virtual assistants before, but all that back end stuff that you don't think about, this is where Marisa gets excited, right? That's why I'm doing the Systems Summit. Come on.
Right.
So let's begin at the beginning. For those of you who do not know, Regina, what is a virtual assistant and who should look into becoming one?
Well, the short and dirty definition of a virtual assistant is somebody who is self-employed. They're a self-employed worker who provides professional services remotely to various clients. A virtual assistant is an independent contractor. They're not an employee. Okay. And so that means virtual assistants are responsible for their own taxes, their own benefits, insurance, and that type of thing.
Right.
As far as, who should look into becoming one, honestly, anyone with the desire and the skill set. It's perfect for someone with existing skills, but I always tell people, never stop learning. Because technology changes, things change. Yeah. So if you're someone who has that passion, has that willingness to learn, you will definitely succeed in this industry. Mm-hmm. If you're a stay-at-home mom looking to earn an income, or if you already have a job and you need a part-time job, you need a side hustle or something, most virtual assistant work is flexible enough to meet those needs.
Yeah. And I can speak from experience at the demand for virtual assistants, especially good virtual assistants who are really organized and have their skill set in place. So for sure. So let's say I've decided that I want to become a virtual assistant. How do I determine if I'm ready to kind of, jump in with both feet?
Right. Well, really, the first thing you really need to ask yourself is why? Why do you want to do this? Yeah. Because let me share a little bit here. In your introduction, you said I've been a virtual assistant since 2007. Mm-hmm. And when I first started out, my first client just kind of fell into my lap. Right. I had, a serious issue with a babysitter. Long story short, my babysitter was abusing drugs and was leaving my kids home while she was out using drugs. Yikes. And so for me, it became a necessity. Yeah. It really became a necessity. But over time, I actually loved it. I absolutely loved it. And, so my why consists of a few things. One, I absolutely love what I do. I started off doing administrative work for real estate agents initially. Kind of transitioned into social media. Now I do copywriting and a few other things. But everything that I've done in my virtual assistant journey, I've absolutely loved. And I keep going because I want my boys to see me in a really positive light. I want them to know that you have to work hard in this world to get ahead, that nothing is handed to you. And, my business has afforded me the opportunity to buy a house, give my boys a little bit extra and give to my church. And so I think for most people, determine your why. Why do you want to do this? Because I'm just going to say it. I'm going to keep it real. It's hard. It's not, for some people, they think, okay, I get to get up at 10 and, go to Starbucks and have my pretty home office and all that stuff. That's great. That's great. But not every day is going to be perfect.
Right.
Okay. And your why is what is going to carry you through.
Yeah.
So determine why you want to do this, and think back on that why when you have those really, really bad days, because you will have them.
Exactly. One of the things that we don't want to put out there for the audience, you guys, seriously, entrepreneurship is hard work. We're keeping it real. It's hard work. It's a lot of work. Is it very fulfilling work? Absolutely. Is it something that you can love and really share your passion through? Oh yeah. But it is hard work, and there are crappy days and there are really great days. So just, you do have to kind of keep that real. So, okay. So I've decided that I want to become a virtual assistant. I want to open this business. You mentioned to your clients this idea about creating a list of the things that you can do, and then creating packages, that align with that list. How do you begin that? Like, how do I know the things that I know how to do and whether or not those things are even marketable?
That's a good question. And I'm going to share a little bit of a personal story, which kind of led me to this way of thinking.
Yeah.
Initially, when I started working as a VA, I worked with pretty much just real estate agents.
Right.
The real estate market tanked in 2008. I mean, it
We're
just
there.
right. I mean, it was done. Okay.
Yeah.
And so I was left without any clients, and so I had to hustle, and I had to kind of regroup. And kids like to eat. Bills have to be paid. All that sort of stuff. Okay.
Especially boys.
Right. They're looking like, okay, what are we gonna eat today?
Right.
So I'm like, okay, I've got to figure something out. Well, I decided I would create this bomb profile, if I do say so myself. I created this bomb profile on one of the, I'm not going to say the name here, but on one of the top-ranked freelance platforms.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice.
And man, before I knew it, I was getting clients left and right.
Nice.
And I looked up and I had like 10 clients.
Nice.
Okay. No, not nice. Not nice. Okay.
Immediate overwhelm.
Oh my gosh. It was ridiculous. Okay. I mean, I was doing, in any given day, I was doing appointment setting. I was doing transcription.
Yeah.
I was doing PowerPoints. I mean, I was a one-man band just juggling it all.
Yeah.
And the fact of the matter was, I hated most of what I was doing. I absolutely hated it. And so what I did was, on one particularly bad Friday, I had just had it. And I fired all of my clients except 2. I kept the 2, and I kept the 2 that I really, enjoyed working with, but more importantly, those were the tasks that I really, really wanted to do. So now when I move forward, that's what I do. I think of the things that I truly love doing, not the things that I know I can do. Right. I mean, I can pick up a phone and call somebody. Do I like it? No.
No, right.
No. So that's what you need to do. You really need to determine what it is that, let's say you didn't get paid for it. You didn't get paid for it. What is it that would really, really just get your juices flowing? What task is it that would really get you going?
Yeah.
And then cross out the things that, you put the stuff on the list, and write everything down. Write everything down that you can do. Go through it and cross off the things that, yeah, you can do it, but it just doesn't spark that fire.
Right.
Get rid of those.
Yeah.
Because I don't care how much you're getting paid to do it, you're going to get to some point where it's not going to be satisfying to you.
Right.
And that's going to come across in the quality of work that you present to a client. And you always want to be on your A game in the virtual world, because a bad reputation in the virtual world will sink your business faster than anything.
Yep. So what I'm hearing you say is, not only do you need to create a list of your skills, but then you need to narrow that list down by the things that you absolutely love doing. And here's where creating your own, taking your passion and monetizing it comes in, right? Is
absolutely.
You figure out what you love to do, and then you go sell that product or service to somebody. Mm-hmm. So what happens if you're not sure whether or not you like something? You know, let's say I have a number of clients and they want, you know, PDFs created, or they want, you know, PowerPoints created or whatever. And I enjoy doing those things. The creative Marisa loves doing those things. How do I know if that's something I want to monetize? Would you suggest I try it on a couple of clients and determine, or what are your thoughts?
I would say really, and I know somebody's going to disagree with me on this,
and that's okay.
But I know, hey, I'm old. Okay, I just put it out there. But really, you know, and this is something that I've done. I've bartered services. Okay, I've bartered services.
Yeah.
I've done, you know, small tasks for free. Just to kind of test the waters, to see if that is something that I might enjoy. When I first kind of delved into social media management, I wasn't quite sure if that was something that I wanted to do.
Right.
And so I reached out to a potential client and said, listen, you know, would you mind if I wrote, you know, like 2 weeks of your copy? And they were like, sure. And I did it for free and found that I loved it. Found that I absolutely loved it. And then I was able to walk away with a testimonial based on the work that I had done.
Very nice.
So just kind of, you know, maybe volunteer your services, maybe barter your services. You know, if you're in need of a logo or something like that, reach out to a graphic designer and say, hey, in exchange for a logo, you know, I can do ABC. Right. And then you can kind of measure to see if that's something you really, really want to do.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah, no, that totally makes sense. So let's talk about the money. How do I figure out what to charge for these services? Because it literally is all over the place when it comes to what different VAs charge.
Yeah.
It's always the fun conversation, guys. So the audience out there can really understand. You're not the only one struggling with this.
No, and you're not really. And you know, there are so many factors that go into this whole money thing. The first thing you really need to do is, what is your number one goal when it comes to financial? How much do you need to make per week, per month, per year? Okay. Write it down on a piece of paper and post it where you can see it.
Yeah.
Okay. Next, figure out how many hours you can set aside each week for client work. So, but you got to be realistic about it. You can't sit up here and say, I'm going to do 40 hours of client work, because then you're leaving yourself no room for marketing, for administrative stuff. Right. You know, so be realistic. So let's say
you have to run your business.
Absolutely. And right. So let's point that out too, while you just said it, as a, you know, so people, you are not an employee. You are a business owner. Right. Put on your business owner hat. Okay. Right. You're not an employee. So stop it. All right.
Right.
Cut it out. But so let's say you can devote 30 hours per week, you know, for client work, and then you devote another 10 to 15 for marketing. That's called the 3/4 rule. So 3/4 client work, 1/4, you know, your admin, your back end stuff.
Yeah.
So when it comes down to rates, oh boy. Okay. Personally, I say, as a rule, if you are an experienced administrative professional, doesn't have to be virtual experience, but an experienced administrative professional, you should be charging no less than $25 per hour.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's just for, you know, like general admin type things. Because keep in mind, as a business owner, you've got to pay your taxes, you've got to pay your insurance, you've got all those other expenses. And I know there are some VAs out there who think, there's no way I can charge $25 an hour. Okay. If you're not comfortable with what you're charging, you need to step back and take a look at yourself. Okay. Yeah. Why do you feel that way?
Right.
Okay. Do you feel that way because, you know, you feel like you're lacking in a few areas? Then yes, maybe you do need to scale it back and say, I can only charge $20 an hour right now. I may have to work a few more hours to get to my goal. but I'm more comfortable with that 20, and then work your way up to 25.
Right.
So 25 to 35 range is a good standard for like general administrative stuff, like data entry, simple graphics, calendar management, that type of thing.
Right.
If you're doing like graphic design, WordPress edits, creating content, then you're looking at like the $35 to $50 an hour range.
Right.
And so $50 an hour and up would be like Facebook ads and creating social media strategy and funnels and all of that type of thing.
Right.
And there's this really cool tool called Beewits, BEEWITS.com. You can go there and you can kind of, play around with the numbers, and it's for freelancers, and you can kind of just fiddle around with it and just kind of see, what you need to make.
Nice. Nice. I like that there's a tool out there to help guide you. The other thing is, we're our own worst critic, right? So how many times have you put something out there and thought, this is what I need to be doing? And then the ants, those anxious negative thoughts in the back of your head, decide to just crawl all in there and get all involved in this conversation you're having with yourself. So stop it.
Yes, cut it out, people.
Go stand in front of the mirror and say, I charge $25 an hour. I charge $50 an hour. And do that every single day until you're used to hearing that. Because it starts here, and then you can deliver it to the rest of the world.
You're absolutely right. I mean, because many VAs they're either coming from the corporate world and they're making the transition to VA.
Right.
And so for years, they've been told, this is what you are worth.
Right.
This is what I am paying you.
This is what I'm paying you, not what you're worth, guys.
Right.
That has nothing to do with it. It's their bottom line they're focused on.
There you go. And so as a VA, you're a business owner. It's like, I am worth, like you said, I am worth $25 an hour.
Right.
I'm okay with that.
Period.
And you know what? Some people are going to say, there's no way I'm paying that.
Right.
Fine.
And that's okay. They're not.
That's fine too.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
They're not your clients. It's all
there. You go. There you go.
So let's talk a little bit. Okay, so I've decided to jump in with both feet. How do I figure out what I'm going to call my business?
That's a really exciting time in your business when you're putting a name on it. Okay, so you can go a few different routes. You can go the route of like using something like professionalvirtualassistant.com, something like that. Right. Basically using an adjective and then kind of describing, what you are. But the one thing I will say is, and I've seen this happen with multiple VAs, they get stuck on this.
Right.
They get stuck to the point where they don't do anything and then they don't launch.
Right.
Don't get stuck on this. Right. Because honestly, the other alternative is just self-brand. Yep. Just self-brand. Use your own name. And that is especially helpful if you have not decided on your target audience. Right. So let's say, you work with primarily lawyers, okay? You want to come across as, corporate-y, if that's even a word, or as professional, as you can. Right. So you would, you might want to steer close to, something with the word professional or creative or something, something like that.
Yep.
But if you have not decided on your target audience, then I would say definitely self-brand. Use your name, okay? Yeah. If your name is taken, put the word work with in front of your name, right? Okay? And then you can kind of use it for multi-purposes down the road.
Right, or works after it,
There you go.
Works, right? So,
yep.
So you could do that as well. So definitely, and there's a lot of links online where you can go in and just search business names. All you do is put in the key phrases that you're interested in having in your business name, and it'll generate a whole bunch of different, like you could spend days. I'm not even kidding.
There you go.
So, just so you know, Google.
There you go.
So I know we are coming to the end of this interview, and it's crazy because I feel like we haven't even begun to cover everything we need to. But before we let you go, Is there anything else that we need to know about starting our own VA business? Now, I know we're going to dive much deeper in the second interview, so keeping that in mind, is there anything else that we need to know to kind of get us started?
I think really the main thing you can do is change your mindset. If you are coming at it from an employee point of view, it's time to start changing that. Yeah. You have to approach this with your business hat on. You have to. You have to be eager and willing to learn new things. Yeah. Technology just changes so fast. Yeah. And if you're not eager or willing to keep up with those changes, you're not going to be doing your business any good, and you're certainly not going to be able to serve any potential clients. Right. So keep those things in mind, because the virtual assistant game is always changing. Right. You know, what's new and flashy today can be old hat the next. So, you know, just keep learning. Never stop learning.
Yeah, I love that. Never stop learning. That needs to be just kind of the theme of this. Never stop learning.
Never.
So, Regina, how can people reach out to you if they want to work with you, utilize some of your services, perhaps access some of your resources? How can they reach out to you?
No problem. You can visit my website at liveandworkbyfaith.com. You can catch me on Facebook at Live and Work by Faith. Or, you know what? I actually prefer email. I'm probably one of those old-fashioned people because I like connecting with people one-on-one like that. So please feel free to send me an email at Regina at liveandworkbyfaith.com.
Perfect. Guys, there is also a link below this video. Regina is sharing some amazing resources with you today so that you can get your own VA business up and running quickly and efficiently. So for those of you who are part of the All Access Pass, stick around because Regina and I are going to dive much, much deeper into all the things you need to know to set up and get your own virtual assistant business out there and running effectively and efficiently. Thank you, Regina, so much for all you've shared with us today. I really, really appreciate it. And guys, thank you for being part of the 2017 Business Systems Virtual Summit. We will see you in the next interview. Bye, everyone.